Good evening. Like to welcome everyone to our Monday, September 28th, Fayetteville City Council meeting. At this time, we ask that we need to open with an invocation. Any like to open with the invocation? All right, Councilman, and also Minister DJ Hare. And if we could, please rise for the prayer. And if we could, after that, please remain standing and repeat in unison the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's all of us bow our heads, please. Lord, we just thank you once again for giving us this opportunity to come before you and just say thank you. With all that's going on, Father, we applaud the way that you are taking care of us, Father. We just love you for that. We continue to thank you for how you are taking care of our city and our citizens, Lord, and how we are continuing to stay strong and how our communities are continuing to stay safe. We continue to ask you for safety, not just over on our city and our neighborhoods, but the cities and neighborhoods all across this country. Lord, we also continue to ask you and thank you for the support and the blessings that you're giving our first responders that are out there on the lines for us and that are taking care of us. And Lord, as we move forward tonight in tonight's meeting, we ask you, Father, to allow us and help us to be on one accord and to think first about the citizens on each agenda item. We ask you, Father, also to protect us and take care of us when the meeting is over, that we all will be able to get home safe. And then, Lord, that we will find our homes just as we left them. And all of these petitions, Father, that we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
All right, Council. Item 4.0, the announcements. This time I would like to ask Mr. Scott Bullitt, is he here or joining us virtually? Mr. Bullitt, if you could provide us an update on our COVID-19 regular update. Okay. If while they're working on Mr. Bullitt's communications, this time I'll turn to Councilmember Ingram, who has an announcement.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to announce that we have a great display coming to the Cool Springs Downtown District. It is called Prismatica. It will be here October 1st through October 31st. First, to give you some insight on it, COVID-19 has kind of thrown us a strange curveball between the pandemic, civic unrest, stress of virtual learning, and zero community events to help bring us together. And so it's been a rough year. The Cool Springs Downtown District, an organization focused on expanding arts, entertainment, and economic vitality for all in our downtown Fayetteville, proposes to use art to remind us of how much we love our community. Prismatica is a global traveling art show. The installation features 25 pivoting prisms that are more than 6 feet tall. Each prism transmits and reflects every color in a very visible spectrum, varying with the position of the light source and the observer. The prisms are mounted on bases containing projections, and as visitors wander among and interact with the exhibit, They will also enjoy an infinite interplay of lights and colorful reflections. As the prisms rotate, a variable intensity soundtrack comprised of bell sounds will also play. We are very excited, and I want to thank all of our sponsors being a part of this. One of our main sponsors, PwC, of course, and I want to thank Cool Springs Downtown District, Bianca Schuneman, for the hard work she has done to bring this to our city. We are the first in the area to receive this, and a lot of people are looking very much forward to it. So this week, October 1st, we will be receiving this, and finally, Census, the deadline is tomorrow. So please make sure you are getting your census and you're getting counted. And also make sure you are registering to vote and know what your voting plan is going to be.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ingram. Councilman Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to make an announcement reference to our food drive this past Saturday. I want to thank everyone who assisted in the September 26th food drive. This food drive was put in place to help the least fortunate in our community due to the COVID-19 virus. We collected $600 in donations for the Second Harvest Food Bank and a very large amount of food. We do not have the total weight of the food at this time. Last time we collected 3 tons of food. This time we did very well. I want to just thank all our citizens. Also, we want to thank the Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Stackhouse and his people. Councilwoman Banks McLaughlin was very instrumental in getting that location. She is a member of that church as well, so we thank you for that. Also, we want to thank Councilwoman Kinston. She was there both the whole time, and they worked so hard, I tell you. So we want to appreciate the council, the total council at large, for supporting this effort as well, and our mayor. Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, Greater Sand Hills Labor Council, the Fayetteville Arts Council, Cape Fear Shriners Club, St. Joseph of the Pines, Judge Pat Timmons Goodson. She was there, did a great job, donated a lot of items as well. Ronald and Cynthia Gunter, the Habitats for Humanities, Alicia Johns, in honor of late husband Ronald Johns, Teresa Fashions, Don Tabbitt, James Davis, Pastor Jeremy Wright of the As One Prayer Walk Group and Community Outreach, McKillen Brooker and Mackenzie Brooker, Maxon Lancaster, Veronica Lancaster, Gates Ford Neighborhood, the City of Fayetteville staff, and all of you that donated, prayed for this event. And it's still not too late. If you want to donate, you can donate to Second Harvest Food Bank, help restock those shelves there. If you want to do a monetary donation, write your checks out to Second Harvest Food Bank, and you can look them up online for the address, and you can send your donations there as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Wright. And I'll go briefly back to Councilmember Ingram, who has an additional piece of information concerning the census.
So, yes, thank you, Mayor, for actually reminding me. So, just to jump to yesterday. Yesterday was Democracy Day, and we came together with the Census and Democracy North Carolina to celebrate Democracy Day, and also of a short, small celebration of the Census actually being approved to be extended. However, there is an appeal that is happening. So the census in itself did get extended to October 31st. But a lot of organizations are still wanting you to make sure that you're counted by tomorrow. And if, in fact, we are able to go through October 31st with census and getting you counted, then that is, of course, is a plus. But if I were you and I'm sitting at home and watching this, I'd go ahead and get on my phone and or tablet computer, and I get myself counted. You can call all up until I think midnight, in 13 different languages, or it might be like 7 p.m. But I do know they have late hours where you can call, and please just watch the news very closely as it relates to the census and being updated. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate what Councilmember Ingram is saying and how important the census is. 10 years ago, we miscounted. We were miscounted in the census, and we lost $25 million a year. Councilmember Ingram has been working very hard to get the word out. So if you're sitting there and listening, you are talking about $25 million a year for 10 years that Cumberland County has missed out on. So please listen to what Councilmember Ingram is saying. It is very, very important. So pick up the phone, get online, and let's support Councilmember Ingram and get this going. Thank you.
All right. Can't say it any better. So, all right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Councilmember Ingram. Thank you, Councilmember Wright, Councilmembers Banks McLaughlin, as well as Kinston, and Second Harvest Food Bank, and all of those who participated for your efforts. At this time, council, as we look to approve the agenda, I'll remind you about item 7.01 and the request that was submitted for that. So with that, I'll entertain a motion via your lights to remove that item, or to approve the agenda with that adjustment.
Mr. Mayor,
There's a motion by Councilman Wright.
I move to approve the agenda for today with the exception
Of
at this time.
7.01.
Okay. Okay. At this time, I move to approve the agenda.
So, Councilman Wright, with the exception of item 7.01, which was requested to be removed for tonight, correct, Madam Clerk? All right. Councilman Wright has a motion to approve with the removal of 7.01. As Mayor Pro Tem was a second on that. Any discussion on the motion? All right, council, I'll look to you for your votes. Ms. Ingram, where is she? All right. Madam Clerk, that is 9-0. Motion carries. All right. Councilman Wright.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda tonight with the exception of 6.08 and 6.09. Want to pull those items until further notice.
Okay, there's a motion to approve consent with the exception of those two items. Saw Ms. Banks McLaughlin, Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. Did you have an item you would like to remove? Okay. Councilmember Waddell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm requesting that we remove item that we pull item 6.02 for further discussion.
Okay, and see the light of Councilman Hare.
No, sir, that was the second.
Oh, you're quick on the trigger. Okay, all right. So there's a motion. There's a motion by Councilmember Wright to approve the consent with the exception of item 6.08, 6.09 at the request of Councilmember Waddell, also 6.02. That was seconded by Councilmember Hare. Any further discussion on that? All right, council, I'll look to you for your votes. All right, Madam Clerk, that is 9-0. Motion carries. Item 6.02, Councilmember Waddell.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. I am requesting that we call for a public hearing for item 6.02 in order to permit the members of my district and this city to have an opportunity to come forward and be heard in regards to this request. And I'm hoping that I can get a second and we can have the city manager and his staff begin to work toward putting that public hearing out for the members of this city.
All right, so there's a motion by Councilmember Waddell to remove 6.02 for a public hearing. There's a second by Councilmember Hare. Any discussion on that? All right, seeing none, council, I look to you for your votes on that. Madam Clerk, that is 9-0. Motion carries. Councilman Wright.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to pull these items until further notice for further discussion.
Okay, so that is a motion to table those items 6.08, 6.09 for further discussion. Councilman Dawkins, did I see you? Second. All right, second, and council, as far as discussion, Councilmember Kinston. No discussion, sir. You said no? Oh, okay. All right, y'all working fast tonight. I gotta keep up with you. All right, council, no further discussion. We have a motion by Councilmember Wright, second by Councilman Dawkins. Look to you for your votes on this. Oh, Councilman Dawkins?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My concern is neither of the awardees are small business or disadvantaged. And then secondly, one bid is $750,000 above the lowest bidder, which is concerning. So my guidance, if the council member would consider a time frame such as 30 days, it looks like on the one particular bid, they've got to get the transformer in within June, I believe it is, of 2021. One of the bidders could not guarantee the transformer before August of 2021. So I guess my thing is we need to be talking with PwC a lot more when we're spending what looks like $2.5 million to $2.7 million, which is a whole lot of money. So I didn't know if Councilmember Wright would consider, we'd bring it back up in 30 days after we get more information from PwC.
I would recommend 30 to 60 days.
I'm fine with that. Second.
All right, so council, Ms. Banks, did you have a question? Is your light popping on? Is your button stuck? Oh, okay, we gotta check that. All right, so council, all right, seeing no further discussion, we'll look to you for your votes on the motion. All right, Madam Clerk, that is 9-0. Motion carries. Right. Public hearing. Individuals desiring to speak at the public hearing must have signed up to speak with the city clerk by name and address before 7 p.m. this evening. 15 minutes will be allowed for each side of the issue at the public hearing. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each, unless by previous arrangement a single spokesperson is designated, in which case the spokesperson may use the entire 15 minutes. When the city clerk calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You may then address the city council. When the light changes from green to amber, that means you have 30 seconds remaining. At the end of your allotted time, the timer will ring. And at this time, we'll defer to Dr. Newton.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. We are going into the special use evidentiary hearing because the one public hearing that you had was withdrawn. So I'm going to read some general instructions. Mayor then will take over as he does in running these hearings. Tonight we have two special use cases that will be presented by the applicant with action to be taken by the City Council. We have two of our planners, Jennifer Baptiste and Craig Harmon, will be serving as professional planners of the City Council today. Also, City Attorney Karen McDonald will be advising the board on the legal and procedural questions. We'll follow the order that has been printed on the agenda for the special use permits under consideration. A copy of the agenda is on the table in the back of the room. All individuals wishing to speak as a witness should have signed up before the start of the meeting. Speakers should have already signed up. However, is there anyone wishing to speak that needs to sign up at this point? Seeing none, The second part is the swearing of affirming of participants. Each person intending to present evidence or testimony is asked to now swear or affirm that the testimony they are giving is true. In Fayetteville, we ask the professional planners who are providing an overview preview of the case and have prepared the staff report, and anyone who may be presenting competent material, substantial evidence to the City Council to provide sworn testimony. Anyone planning on speaking during the evidentiary hearing, please stand and be sworn by the City Clerk. This applies to both the cases, and we probably will double check to make sure that you've done it as we go to the second one.
Actually, what we're going to do is swear in the first group for the first hearing, and then we will do the second group.
So anyone participating in the first?
Which is, Jared, why don't you read the case, just so everybody's clear which one the council is preparing to hear.
This will be case number P2026F. And it's Scout Brown 4D Solutions is the applicant.
All right, Mr. Newton, Madam Clerk, when do we need to swear in? I heard some discussion about that.
We can swear them in now. We only have one speaker, and that's Mr. Scott Brown.
Okay, he's standing and ready to take his oath, I guess.
Okay, if you could raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
These are general instructions on special use permits are designed to allow the City Council to deliberate if the use or activity can fit in as proposed, fit with reasonable conditions or flexibility in location, design, materials of operation, or is not appropriate at the appropriate location in the city. If approved or approved with conditions, special use permit remains with the land unless specifically conditioned as part of the approval. City of Fayetteville City Council collects the evidence associated with the special use permit through the evidentiary hearing. In the hearing, the professional staff presents an overview of the case. This is then followed by the applicant's presentation and those supporting or opposing the application. It is the role of the applicant to present their case and how it meets the necessary standards to grant an SUP. There are 8 standards for the applicant to address to demonstrate how the use or activity will appropriately fit the particular location requested. These standards become the finding of fact for the quasi-judicial decision. The burden of presenting sufficient evidence to meet the standards rests with the applicant. There is a prima facie entitlement to the SUP if the applicant presents uncontroverted, competent, substantial, and material evidence that the standards have been met. Findings of fact will be determined by the evidence, not speculative objections presented during the evidentiary hearing. Recommendations from the preliminary review made by the Zoning Commission do not serve as a basis for the City Council. Mayor Coleman, I think at this point, I will
Parties
turn it
to
over
this case, thank you, Dr. Newton. The parties to this case are entitled to an impartial board. Any council member, including the mayor, may not participate in this evidentiary hearing if he or she has a fixed opinion about the matter, a financial interest in the outcome of the matter, or a close relationship with the affected person. Does any board member have any partiality to disclose or to recuse or recusal to offer? Right. Parties to this case have a right to an ex parte, have rights for any ex parte communication to be disclosed. Ex parte communication is any communication about the case outside of the hearing. This may include site visits as well as conversations with parties, staff, and general public. Does any board member have any site visits or communications to disclose? Madam Attorney, this is a continuation from the previous, and so if there are any additional disclosures, or does our disclosure references from the previous meeting apply in this case again?
I think you're referring to the second one.
To the next case. All right, gotcha. All right, any to disclose? All right. Well, getting used to you all's new format, so bear with me a little bit. All right, and so seeing none, the property is located at Ms. Baptiste, you have the information for that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening. This is case number P20-26F. This is a request to allow a special use permit be issued for the construction of 4 townhomes at 600 and 602 Roxy Avenue. The properties have a total acreage of approximately 0.48 acres. The application has been submitted by Mr. Scott Brown of 4D Site Solutions on behalf of Sean Harrell, the property owners. Staff is recommending approval, and the Zoning Commission has also recommended approval. As you can see from the aerial map, this property is located along Roxy Avenue. To give you a little bit of an idea of where Roxy Avenue is, just to the east of this property is All American Highway, and to the north is Rayford Road. On Rayford Road, this Roxy Avenue actually runs alongside the GCF Donation Center and the Hot Diggity Dog restaurant. As you can see from the zoning map, these parcels are currently zoned SF6, with the surrounding area being zoned as SF10. According to the future land use map, this area should be developed as medium density residential. Medium density residential is defined as primarily single-family residential uses, including some duplexes, townhomes, and low-rise apartments. This is the subject property. This property was rezoned in 2019 by City Council from SF10 to SF6. At the time of the rezoning, the applicants stated that they were looking to do townhomes on this site. The surrounding area is mainly single-family residential. These single-family residential are mainly rental properties in the area. There are also apartments on the next street over on Roday Avenue, as well as Faison Avenue. According to the site plan submitted with the application, the parcel will be developed with 4 individual townhomes. Each townhome will be platted as an individual lot with open space and common area surrounding the area. By being platted as individual lots, the townhomes can be either sold individually or used as rental properties. The Zoning Commission and Planning staff are recommending approval of the SUP based on this SUP implements the policies adopted in the UDO, as well as constructions of the townhomes are allowed in the single-family SF6 residential zoning district. The proposed SUP ensures that new development is compatible with the future land use plan, and there are no other factors that will substantially affect the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Staff is available once the public hearing is open for any questions, as well as a representative for the application is here to answer any questions that may come from the council.
Thank you, Ms. Baptiste. With that, we will open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, you have any speakers?
Yes, sir. We just have one, Mr. Scott Brown.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Scott Brown, 409 Chicago Drive, Suite 112, Fayetteville, North Carolina. We are the applicant on behalf of the owner. As Ms. Baptiste mentioned, we have gone through the Zoning Commission, Planning Commission. We did not have any opposition at that meeting as well. We've gone through TRC approval, submitted application, And the only thing we have lacking is the approval from council tonight on the SUP. We've got our driveway permit, we've gone through stormwater engineering, we've got our engineering permit, we've got our utilities permit from PWC. Like I said, the only thing we have lacking is the special use permit, which was kind of hampered and delayed a little bit due to the COVID process. That's the reason we're so far along with all the other items. But as Ms. Baptiste mentioned, we have SF6 zoning. Multifamily is allowed, but it requires a special use permit. We are requesting 4 townhomes. As Ms. Baptiste mentioned, I'd like to run through the findings of fact real quick, and I'll go through each of those. And when I finish, I'll sit down unless council has any questions of me at that time or later. But first item, to indicate how the special use permit complies with all applicable use specific standards in the city code. The site plan as submitted and application as submitted follows along with the UDO guidelines and the standards as set forth in the UDO. We've gone through TRC. We've addressed the TRC comments, and as far as I know, everything is in compliance 100%. We just need your approval tonight on this special use permit. Describe how the special use permit is compatible with the character and uses permitted in the zoning district. The existing zoning is SF6. SF6 allows for multifamily but requires a special use permit. The townhomes will be compatible with the surrounding development. As Ms. Baptiste mentioned, everything around it is primarily single family and zone residential, so we're not asking for anything that's going to be kind of an eyesore, so to speak. Indicate how the special use avoids significant adverse impacts on the surrounding lands regarding service, delivery, parking, and loading outdoors. Special use is for residential townhomes. The impact on the surrounding lands will be typical of existing townhomes in the area. We're talking about 2 undeveloped lots that's been undeveloped for years, and this will allow that community should complete the community and be consistent with the surrounding single-family homes. From the outside looking at it, it's going to look like some of the surrounding property for residential development. Describe how the special use is configured to minimize adverse effects, visual impacts of proposed uses on the adjacent land. The special use permit, the site plan as submitted, is in compliance with the landscape and buffer requirements of the UDO. We do have streetscape buffer along the streets, and the buffering down for the foundation plantings along the side of the buildings, the new townhomes. Explain how the special use permit avoids significant deterioration of water and air resources, wildlife habitat, scenic resources, and other natural resources. To proposed buildings, proposed units will be tying on to existing water and sewer by PWC. It should have minimal impact on the surrounding environment. There's a few scrub trees and vegetation out there, which we will be planting additional trees and landscaping back. We have minimal footprint associated with the additional concrete and the building roof area that we're going to be adding. We're proposing a couple of rain gardens out on the site. City Stormwater's looked at it and have approved the plan that's in front of you tonight. Indicate how the special use maintains safe ingress and egress onto the site and safe road conditions at the site. These are city streets that Roxy Avenue is a city street, not a DOT street. We have one connection to Roxy Avenue, and we have gone through city traffic and have been approved for a driveway permit per the site plan in front of you tonight. Demonstrate how the special use allows for protection of property values and the ability of surrounding neighboring lands to develop the uses permitted in the zoning district. The surrounding property is developed as single-family residential neighborhood. No negative impacts are anticipated with the proposed developments that will be in nature with the surrounding neighborhoods, and the fact that nobody has voiced any opposition throughout the process all the way up to the special use hearing tonight here by City Council is additional evidence of that finding. The special use permit complies with all relevant city, state, federal, local laws and regulations. The project is designed and will be constructed in accordance with all the current local, state, and federal laws. Again, we have all of our permits to go to construction as far as the site work, minus the special use permit here tonight. So I ask that City Council give a favorable follow along with what the commission has done, and staff follow along with staff recommendation, and we request that you approve this special use permit tonight so we can go to work. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that the council might have of me now or later.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Madam Clerk?
So we have no further speakers.
All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing. Council, any questions for Mr. Brown or staff? Councilman Waddell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Baptiste, I have a question for you. And I'm going to ask you in advance to forgive me because it's probably a very elementary question. But when we have something like this come before
Councilmember
us.
Waddell, I'm sorry. Mayor, I'm sorry. We need to leave the public
Leave it
hearing
open?
open until,
Okay, all right,
I apologize.
open it back. Sorry. Councilmember Waddell?
Thank you. When we have something like this come before us and it is consistent with the future land use plan, why are we not just rezoning that area in general? Why are we doing a special use permit? Because if the usage that we're looking at long-term is a particular zoning overlay, why aren't we looking at it and saying, let's just go ahead and take care of this area in general?
Well, when a use is applied for, we look in our use table in the UDO, and based on what the zoning district says for that particular use, if it's allowed, permitted, or not allowed at all, or requires a special use permit, that's the process we follow. But previously, the site was zoned SF10. SF10 does not allow single-family detached dwellings, which this is classified as. So they rezoned it to SF6, which requires this use be done as a special use permit.
But the actual future land use, what was the zoning that was indicated?
The future land use doesn't recommend a particular zoning, but a particular use of the area.
So as we're looking at that, would it behoove, and I guess this is the last part of my question, would it behoove the council, because I know that we recently had a study done with some zoning overlays, would it, that I think would correlate to the future land use of each of those areas, right?
Yes,
Okay.
the future land use.
So would it behoove this council and potential applicants who may come before us for us to be proactive and start looking at rezoning large areas to make them conducive for what the potential future land use would be? Is my question making sense? Yes. Okay. Because what I'd like to see is us eventually getting to the point where we have zoning that matches what our future land use is, and that when people are doing business or creating new development in the areas, it's already, signed out to, laid out to them what we're trying to get done. Okay.
Members of the council, Taurus Friend, Planning Zoning Divisional Manager. To answer your question, madam, we follow what is in the UDO. That is something that was put in place prior to the adoption in 2011. Is to protect those single-family neighborhoods for such developments. It is to allow the council, if they have any questions or comments or want to place any type of conditions, to do so at that time of such a hearing as we're having tonight. So that is why that is in place. But all it is just black words on a piece of white sheet of paper. We can easily do a text amendment that will allow those type of developments to go into those type of zoning classifications.
Thank you. So, council, I think the concern that I'm trying to express that is being brought up by what we're seeing tonight is that we probably would be able to do a great service to our city if we married our zoning in the city to what our future land use looks like, so that when people come before us, they know what the expectation of all of the planning that we've done throughout the city is, because it's already built into the zoning, versus us having to look at each independent. And there will still be some things that come one at a time, But I think we spend all of this money on all of these plans to do all of this work, and then we allow it to kind of be piecemealed when we may have an opportunity before us because we have very new recent plans, both with the zoning overlay and with the land use development. We may have be in a very unique position to make some broad sweeping changes that shape the way our city looks for decades to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Member Banks McLaughlin. Yeah. We need to, Mr. Manager, we've got to check her button out because it's appearing green when she's not pushing it. That could be problematic on some important things, so we need to check that out. Councilman Wright.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to comment on Councilwoman Waddell's comments versus overlays and land use. And I think the UDO is in place, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it safeguards corporations and contractors from really coming in and building, and which allows the residents to be pushed out because of these powerful corporations coming in and building. So is that UDO in place? And I believe I heard you say that for the safety net of residential areas that's already existing. And I understand future goals as we put in place these overlays and this land use plan, we have to put in a safety so corporations won't just push residents out. Am I on point?
Mr. Mayor, if I can answer the general question, is that all right?
Please.
We, in your ordinance, have the zoning that's part of the UDO, and we have uses that we say yes, we have uses that we say no, and we have some uses that we say maybe so. The ones that may fit or may not fit, we call them special use permits. And in your design of the table of the list of uses, you have a whole bunch of yeses, and we call those permitted. You can automatically do it, you never see them. We have a bunch that say you can't do it, you never see those. And you have a handful of items that the council in the past has said, this might fit at this spot or it might not. It could be a commercial use in some spots, it could be a residential use in others. But in that table of uses that has hundreds of them, there are some that will have special use permit, meaning it might fit, it might not, let's look at the situation. So that's why you will see, and you as a council have reserved those for yourself. So an overall idea that we heard mentioned from Councilmember Waddell, yes, we should have as much of our zoning match up to the yes to the future land use plan. And you have actually initiated that. You're going to be hearing back from us soon on that very thing.
I thought we had worked on it, but council, that's great for a discussion for another day, but right now these are specific cases that we need to keep our testimony relevant or our discussions relevant to the case that is at hand, which is the petition for this case by Mr. Scott Brown. So if we have any other questions or comments on this particular case, I think it's a great discussion, but on this particular case, any other questions, comments? Councilman Dawkins, did I see something from you?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If pleased the council, I make a motion to approve the special use permit based on it meeting the 8 findings of fact to allow the construction of a 4-unit townhouse zone in single-family 6 located at 600 and 602 Roxy Avenue, totaling .4 acres plus or minus, and being the property of Wayside Investments LLC.
Thank you, Councilman Dawkins. There's a motion to approve as stated. There's a second by Councilman Davis. Any discussion on the motion? All right, council, I'll look to you for your votes. All right, Madam Clerk, that is unanimous. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Brown. Item 7.03, Dr. Newton.
This is also an evidentiary hearing. You'll need to have the swearing in of those who plan to provide witness and testimony, and as is our custom, we have our staff also do that.
Mayor, we have 7 speakers for this item. Mr. Steve McBride, Mr. Michael Porter, Mr. Henry Tyson, Mr. Michael Stewart, Mr. Eddie Hightower, Mr. Barry Clark, and Mr. Leonard Hedgepeth. If you could all raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Without reading any of the general information, I'll just turn it back over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Top of page 2.
Oh, we've got to go back through that again. Okay. All right, counsel. As far as the disclosures, the parties to this case are entitled to an impartial board. Any council member, including the mayor, may not participate in this evidentiary hearing if he or she has a fixed opinion about this matter, a financial interest in the outcome of the matter, or close relationship with an affected person. Does any board member have any partiality to disclose or recusal to offer? All right, seeing none. And the parties to this case have rights for an ex parte communication to be disclosed. Ex parte communication is any communication about the case outside of this hearing. This may include site visits as well as conversations with parties, staff, or the general public. Does any board member have any site visits or communications that we need to disclose? All right. And the property is located at 4800 and 4802 Murchison Road. The City Council will listen to all testimony before asking specific questions to clarify the evidence presented. The final action will be based on the sufficiency of the standards being met. A simple majority of City Council is required for the final vote to approve with conditions, remand the application back to Zoning Commission for further considerations, or to deny. This is not a public hearing of the City Council administrative actions, but an evidentiary hearing of a quasi-judicial nature. As such, any written comments regarding this case that were submitted before the meeting will be considered by the City Council only when submitted as evidence in the hearing. So at this time, we'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Harmon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Case we have before you is P2028F. This is special use permit to allow wrecker service at 4800 4802 Murchison Road. Property is just over an acre. This is in District 4. Zoning Commission, as you'll see in a moment, did recommend approval. This just gives you an idea of where the property is located along Murchison Road. You do have the railroad tracks directly behind this property, Distribution Drive back here, Murchison Road here, just to give you a little bearings of where we are. Currently, the zoning on the property, it is community commercial, or our heaviest commercial district. And our land use plan calls for this to be an employment center out in that area. Just to give you an idea of what is existing there, this is a couple of photos of the building as it sits currently. The building's been there for quite a while. The applicant is looking to use this building. It has fencing around it. He will have to do a few upgrades to that to meet the UDO, but does not plan to change the footprint of the fencing, as you'll see here in a moment as well. Just a few things kind of surrounding properties there, up and down Murchison Road. And this is a site plan of how it exists today out there, and it's how they plan to use the property as well. You have the parking here in the front, a gate here, fenced in side and rear area, along with the existing building up front. Zoning Commission again did recommend approval. This proposed special use, they felt, implements policies adopted in the UDO and the 2040 Future Land Use Plan. Development of the site is allowed in the Community Commercial District and would not detract from the overall area. Proposed SUP ensures that new development is compatible with current zoning, UDO, and growth pattern of the area. utilization of existing previously developed site, and that there are no other factors which substantially affect this property. That's all of the staff presentation at this time. If you'd hold questions for staff until after or during your public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, we have any speakers for this item?
We have 7 speakers. Our first speaker is Mr. Steve McBride.
Hello, sir.
Hello, my name's Steve McBride. You want my address and everything?
Please.
Okay. 4241 Colby Court Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm going to let my attorney start, and I'll come in later.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I have some notebooks to hand up. I don't know in which method.
To the clerk. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And council, I'll need to open this public hearing for this item. Man.
John, I know you were playing good tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And while y'all are looking at that, Michael Porter, attorney for the petitioner, 5851 Ramsey Street, 28311.
All right, Mr. Porter. Yes, sir. How you?
Doing well, Your Honor. That's old habits, Mr. Mayor. If you look at what you have, it is a binder with several tabs. The first 2 tabs are probably the most important. You have the CV of our expert witness, Michael Stewart, and then his professional appraisal. And what that goes to is finding of fact element number 7 that you've got to find tonight. And I'm an attorney, so I'm used to question and answer. So if it pleases the council, I would go ahead and call our expert witness and go through some questions with him. All right, come on up.
Michael Stewart, 280 McDougald Road, Lillington, North Carolina, 27546.
All right, sir, what is your profession?
I'm a certified general appraiser.
All right, and you have given me your curriculum vitae, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it is contained within this 3-ring binder that has been provided to council, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me about your college education. Where'd you go to college?
Campbell University,
What was your degree in?
geology,
And what year did you graduate, sir?
1986.
All right. And when did you become a certified general appraiser?
Well, that's a tough question. I began with the tax office in Harnett County in 1990. Was certified by the Institute of Government to be an appraiser for the tax office in 1992. Was the chief appraiser for Harnett County until 1997, when I went to Lee County and held the same position until 2003. I left there and went to a firm in Raleigh called Williams Appraisers, where I was certified as a general appraiser certification I have now in 2007, and founded my own company, Cape Fear Appraisals, in 2007.
And you've been doing that ever since?
Yes, sir.
And you have been qualified as an expert in a court of law before?
I have.
Is that here locally?
Well, mainly in Harnett County and the state of North Carolina.
All right, and that's in district court primarily?
Primarily the court Board of Equalization review with the state.
All right. And just to be clear for the record, you're a certified general appraiser licensed by the state of North Carolina?
That's correct.
And I am tendering him as an expert as such to the council unless there's any objection. Thank you. Have you reviewed the special use permit application P20-28F for a wrecker service located at 4800 and 4802 Murkison Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Were you asked to provide an expert opinion on whether or not SUP P20-28F for a record service located at 4800 and 4802 Murkison Road allowed for protection of property values for the properties located directly adjacent to and near the subject property?
I was, or I did.
You understand that you were requested to provide such a determination because City Code 30.C-7E7 requires that the protection of property values be established in order for SUP P20-28F to be issued by the city, correct?
That's correct.
Have you made such a determination, sir?
I have.
Are you prepared to give that determination as an expert opinion in this matter?
Yes, sir.
What is your determination?
That the use for the special use permit as proposed would not negatively impact the surrounding or properties within 350 to 400 feet.
And did you generate a written report regarding your expert opinion?
I did.
And it is provided within the 3-ring binders that have been provided to council, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and it's a number of pages long, correct?
Yes, sir.
What methodology did you use to reach this expert opinion?
Well, I surveyed similar record type services and storage facilities of short-term and long-term within the city of Fayetteville and the greater Cumberland County area. And out of those, I found 8 that had similar properties surrounding them within that many feet that weren't heavy industrial. So that would have been residential, institutional, non-heavy commercial, to see if the surrounding properties were detrimentally affected by the presence of the wrecker and towing service.
And you stand by your opinion, correct?
Yes, sir.
And is the methodology and the data upon which you applied said methodology generally accepted in your field?
Yes, sir.
No further questions. I open them up to questions from the council.
Councilman? Yeah, I think, Mr. Porter, I think what we'll do is we'll hear all of the
I will have him away.
questions, but council, we have a lot of speakers, so if you have a question, just let it be known what you're like, and we'll try to address it, but you can keep going, sir, or if that concludes it. Okay.
She says she does.
She does have a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, but I don't necessarily know that my question is of the speaker. I think that my question would be to our staff, and it goes back to...
Councilmember Waddell, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Please allow the applicant to finish, and then if you got questions for the staff, ask that.
After they're done?
Yes, because it might be answered as a part of their total presentation.
I don't think it will be in this case, but I can hold the question because I wrote it down. That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to call Henry Tyson.
Madam Attorney, you have something you need to add?
No, sir. I'm sorry, Mayor. I pushed the wrong button.
What is going on with these lights?
If it's possible, if we could ask Mr. Porter to come to this microphone. We can't get him on the sound system, and so if he's going to tag team and have questions, if he could come to one and the applicant or his speaker could come to the other.
He's still 6 feet distance from anybody, so come on, Mr. Porter.
I'm always happy to have a microphone closer.
Can you get Mr. Tyson to state his name and address before you start?
Henry Tyson, 410 Wayberry Drive, Fayetteville, NC, 28303.
And I have some more documents to hand up to the council.
You get to Jennifer.
You know where, right, after you pass your shop, it's a doctor's or eye place, and then it's a plaza right on the left. That's where it was.
If the council is okay, I'll go ahead and proceed just for the sake of time. You want to wait till everybody has?
Yeah, we're kind of trying to set up for this Q&A, but recommendations to any... Yeah, he could... Well, he can't turn around. Couldn't the mic flip this way, Ms. Porter, and you look that way.
There we go. That's.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I need to be able to. You're trying to get me away from my notes, man. Everybody good?
Try to do the best you can, sir.
All right. Mr. Tyson, what is your occupation, sir?
I'm a co-owner of Tyson Commercial Real Estate. I do commercial real estate.
And how long have you been a commercial broker, sir?
6 years.
All right. And, sir, I am holding up this document.
Yes, sir.
And so City Council can see. Sir, what is that document? Can you explain it to me?
Yes, sir. We had an independent third party that conducted a market survey report of the surrounding area around the site. And during the course of that survey, you'll see that we had a 12-month, a 24-month, and a 36-month survey that was done, showing closed transactions in the area, the average home sold per month, the average list price, price per square foot, days on market, and then the amount of inventory that's still on the market in that sub area.
And you have reviewed this independently in your role as a commercial broker licensed by the state of North Carolina, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you concur with the findings?
Yes, sir. So the report shows that on average, property values from a 3-year period up to a 1-year period have appreciated. You've seen an appreciation by $6 a square foot. The average time on market that homes are selling in the area has decreased, and then the amount of the months of inventory supply you see is pretty stable. It's 1.5 months on market.
So do you likewise contend that the granting of this special use application will not negatively impact the surrounding property values?
Yes, sir. In fact, that was one of the reasons we did the study, particularly for residential property, is by code, in a CC zoning classification, a towing company is a use by right. The only thing that triggers the special use permit is 250 feet within residential. And so it was our conclusion that the council's compelling interest was to protect residential property values in the area.
And you found that it does?
Yes.
All right, and just to be clear, you said that when it's zoned community commercial, a wrecker service would normally be allowed as a matter of right, correct?
And that's the only zoning classification, that's a commercial classification in code that allows for a wrecker service.
And the only reason that you cannot get one placed in this particular lot or lots is because 30-4.C.4.K.5 says that if it's within 250 feet of a residential zoned lot, you have to go through this process, correct?
Correct.
And the only residential lot that is within 250 feet is across a 5-lane road, correct?
That's zoned residential, that's correct.
And that being Murkison Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
Which is an arterial road, correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
All right. And you're aware of the city's 2040 plan that was mentioned by Mr. Harmon, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And this use is consistent with the 2040 plan?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what is behind this lot?
There's a railroad track with, I think it's a 60-foot easement. It's depicted on the site plan.
All right. And then beside it, there's a church, correct?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
All right. And are you aware of some opposition that has come from the church?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe some of that opposition?
We were informed at our last scheduled hearing date that there was some concerns from the adjoining property owners as to the use. We did reach out to the property owners. I believe you did, sir, and had some discussions with them since that hearing.
Their main concern was not the use, but a little dirt path, correct?
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
All right. But unfortunately, that little dirt path is on a lot that has now been purchased by Mr. McBride, correct?
That's correct.
And to your knowledge, they have filed no action in Superior Court seeking to establish any type of easement, correct?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
All right, and you've also handed up to City Council 2 maps. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
just explain, let's do the one that's a little bit broader view.
Yes, sir. So this particular map is actually denoting on the same corridor other similar uses as this proposed use. You see auto parts stores, you see another towing service located on Murchison Road, and so we highlighted those properties to be able to present them.
And then what about the close-up map? Is that essentially the same thing?
No, sir. That was the area in question that we commissioned the third party to do a study for us. And so that is the actual market area itself that is immediately around the site. So we actually took that and looked at some of the other towing services that are on that corridor, and we went to the residential that's on the corridor itself and looked at how those property values were affected by those uses that are already there.
Thank you. And I'm going to go through just briefly the requirements in 30-2.C.7, point E. Number 1, the special use complies with all applicable standards in section 30-4.C. To your knowledge, it does, correct?
Yes, sir.
Number 2, the special use is compatible with the character of surrounding lands and the uses permitted in the zoning districts of surrounding lands. To your knowledge, that is also correct based upon your analysis and the analysis of Mr. Stewart, correct?
That's correct.
Meaning it's the land to the, on all 3 sides is already zoned community commercial, and then there's a 5-lane highway in front of it, correct?
That's to my knowledge, yes, sir.
The special use avoids significant adverse impact on surrounding lands regarding service delivery, parking, loading, odors, noise, glare, and vibration. To the best of your knowledge, this application allows for all of that, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Basically because that's an existing building and it's going to be used as that building was intended to be used, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And any wrecked cars will be in the back behind fencing that was allowed by Mr., or at least complies with the recommendations of Mr. Harmon and his staff, and it can't be there any longer than 90 days, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And it already has parking and ingress and egress, correct?
That's correct, yep.
The special use is configured to minimize adverse effects, including visual impacts of the proposed use on the adjacent lands. That's the same thing, correct?
It's already fully built and fully entitled as is, yes, sir.
And on either side of the parking in the back where the wrecked cars are going to be is actually a little bit of a buffer area, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And that's because these lots were originally very thin lots that were meant to be almost like Lego building blocks, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
That the special use avoids significant deterioration of water and air resources, wildlife habitat, scenic resources, and other natural resources. The building's been there since 1985, correct?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, there's no endangered animals living in or near that building?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
All right. The special use maintains safe ingress and egress onto the site and safe road conditions around the site. That kind of is duplicative, but it's got a driveway in and out. It's been there. The curb cut's been approved since at least 1985, correct?
Yes, sir. It is a permitted cut by DOT.
The special use allows for protection of property values and ability of neighboring lands to develop uses permitted in the zoning district. We've already covered part 1 of that with you and with Mr. Stewart, but let's go to the second part of it. The land on almost all sides is either already developed or there's an easement for railroad tracks, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So to the extent that they needed to develop, that's done, correct?
That's already developed, yes, sir.
The special use complies with all other relevant city, state, and federal laws and regulations. I've been sworn in. I can say, yes, it does. Do you concur, Mr. Tyson?
Yes, sir, I concur.
No further questions. At this time, I call Mr. McBride. Mr. McBride, you've already stated your name and address, correct?
I have.
What is the name? You own the property in question, correct?
I do.
All right. Now, the first hearing was back in August for this matter, correct?
It was.
In the interim, you've actually purchased the property? Yes. Okay. And if you could get a little closer to the microphone.
Yes.
There we go. All right. Sir, what is the name of your business under which you operate?
HMC Wrecker Service.
And when was that company established approximately?
About, I want to say early 80s, 82, 81. I wasn't here, so.
Was it founded by a family member?
It was founded by my uncle.
When did you take it over?
I took it over 2 years ago after his death.
All right. And approximately how many employees do you have?
At the moment, I have 2.
All right. And you intend to employ at least 2 at this site, correct?
I intend to employ probably 6.
You plan on bringing 6 jobs to Murkison Road, is that right?
Yes.
About how much do these jobs pay?
About $15 to $20 an hour.
All right. And how long did it take you to find a site that fits all of the city regulations with the help of Mr. Tyson?
About 2 years.
All right. And you intend to abide by all regulations and codes, correct?
I do.
At the last city council meeting, it was suggested, although it's not anywhere in the code, that you might want to speak with the adjoining property owners. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Have you attempted to speak to the adjoining property owners?
I have through you and Mr. Tyson. I mean, I've been there and no one's come over to talk to me, so.
Have you generally made yourself available?
Sure.
And to your knowledge, neither Mr. Tyson nor myself has received any meaningful feedback from the adjoining landowners, correct?
As far as I know, you've both spoke to them, but.
All right. Are you ready to get this business up and going in this location?
I would like to be on rotation December.
So you want to bring some jobs around Christmas time, correct?
Yes.
All right. And what all are you going to have to do? What are you going to put into the building to get it up and running?
I need to make a bigger garage door, fencing requirements, a sign.
And this represents a significant investment on your part, correct? Buying this land and fixing the building up?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
All right. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay.
At this time, I might have to go back there. I have a few questions of Mr. Harmon, and then I will be at my conclusion.
Okay, sir. I mean,
Sit back here. Mr. Harmon, I know this is a little bit awkward because I'm now standing behind you. Can you explain the 2040 plan just in general? You mentioned it in your report, but can you explain what the 2040 plan is for these particular lots?
What it is just for these particular lots?
Or for that whole corridor, because it's for a corridor, correct?
Well, yes, but there's several different things for that corridor. You can see on the opposite side of the road is some low-density residential. On your particular side of the road, though, it's all commercial industrial uses or what's called for in that particular area.
And the lot that has a church on it, that is actually also zoned community commercial, correct?
Actually, I believe that is zoned residential at this point.
Now, have you received any feedback from anyone in opposition?
I have not.
No further questions. We rest our case for now.
thank you, Mr. Porter. We do have a couple questions for you. Councilmember Waddell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'm very glad that Mr. Harmon ended talking about the land use plan and the zoning map. So, Mr. Harmon, if you'll come back up, because that is where my question is going.
Mr. Mayor, we did have some other speakers. Did you want to
I
start the
thought,
question?
yeah, what I would like to do, because we had a lot, is if they had questions for this side and any of their witnesses or statements, I wanted to wrap that up before we moved into the other side.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Come on up, Mr. Harmon, or whoever your representative is. So my question is pretty straightforward, and it piggybacks off of the last dialogue we were having when we were talking about the land use plans and the zoning, okay? So when we talk about the future land use, because we as a council, we have to be responsible for the future of our city, not just the right now. And so as we're deciding what can be built where and what can be placed where, we have, again, these very extensive plans that have been researched and are to be implemented throughout our city. And I want to know in particular with those lots, what the future land use is and how this will affect that or may affect that potentially. Because when we're hearing what it does to the property values or what it may or may not do to the property values as is, I think it's also incumbent upon us to consider what it will do to the future of that corridor, particularly given the amount of interest that has been given to that corridor and the level of planning that we've been doing in relation to that corridor. And so I just would like to know, are we considering that overall area, or is the overall area, are we considering it as we're planning for it, or are we just considering it as is right now?
So I'll kind of go a multi-step with this. So we'll move back to that land use plan.
Okay.
And you'll see all of this in purple here on kind of the northeast side of Murchison Road, where our property in question is located.
Mm-hmm.
And our future land use plan is called for an employment center.
Right. And what is the zoning for employment centers?
So that could be a number of different things. It could be just regular commercial, it could be industrial, it could be a mix of those, and that's really what you kind of have in this area right now. Let me move back to our zoning, and you'll see that behind it you've got industrial, the red here, commercial, red here is commercial. We do have an existing kind of pocket here that's still zoned residential that, you know, if we expect to move forward in the future with that land use plan, that this area through here would eventually become some type of commercial as well.
Okay, so this is, if I'm understanding correctly, this particular usage would be synonymous with what we would consider in an area that's employment center? Is that accurate?
It would.
Okay, and then the last part of my question, so when we look at those bullet points that were listed, the second bullet point indicated and will not detract from the overall area. So if we're looking at the area with the future land use plan in mind, is that still an accurate statement? Will not, in your professional opinion?
In my opinion, it would not, because you're looking at more commercial along that corridor instead of less.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harmon.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Hare.
Here, Mr. Harmon, go back to that map that you were just pointing at, please. That one right there. As you're saying, as we look in the future of this land use vision, also right there.
Well, that's the zoning map. Can you go back to the land use plan?
No, I want him to stay there. I'm trying to think of what color that would be. The off yellow, I guess, presently where, I guess that's Seesaw Drive, and on the other side of, I guess, the tracks there, all of that particular area right now is residential.
It's zoned residential.
Okay.
Whether it actually is residential or not.
Okay, well, it's zone residential. That's so unless whenever we get to this conceptual land use plan, are we looking for these areas to be rezoned? Are we looking for the property owners to come in to rezone those now residential areas to this conceptual land use plan that you were speaking of? Or will the city just go on and just do it?
The city typically does not go through, as you
Correct.
know, and just rezone properties to match the land use plan at this point.
Okay.
And so the way we've done it up to this point is individual owners would come in. If they wanted to rezone their property for something, they would have more of a backing because the new land use plan also calls for that.
Thank you. I have others, but I'll wait. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember, who we got? Davis, Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I think a while back, how far is this from the location of the place where we applied for the $30 million residential grant?
Half a mile, 3/4.
Is that near the area? Is that
Other side of.
other side of Pamela? Okay. What are the fencing requirements?
So they'll have to do a solid fence where you can't see through it. Right now, there's a chain link fence. It'll have to be at least 6 foot high solid fencing so that you won't be able to see the cars that are being stored in the back.
And what's next? What's presently located next to this proposed site?
You've got some different commercial stuff here on one side, and then you've got some commercial and a church to the other.
So there's a church right there.
I believe the church is right here.
And what commercial is to the other to the bottom of it? What's that?
I don't recall what it is right offhand.
Okay.
Did you answer? You good, sir?
Yeah, he said didn't recall.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
All right.
I just don't recall what it was.
Councilmember Kinston.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have just a couple of small questions. So one of the questions Councilmember Davis already addressed was the fencing. And I just wanted to confirm if the fencing is going to be all the way around, including to the back of where the railroad is running?
So right now, if you look at the site plan that's I've got up, this line with the little X's is where the fencing exists currently. And then across here and down this property line. Now, I believe that they intend to.
Council, we'll let him answer this. I wanted to be clear when Mr. Porter and his side, he presented for his clients. I was hoping that
Ask
we
them
had any
questions.
questions for them that they could be directed, because we still
Yeah.
have 3 more speakers
Okay,
that. I'm not directing that to you. I'm just trying to clear this up, because right now we've got the staff answering, but we haven't given the other side time for testimony. You see what I mean? So, and I was just trying to catch them before they sat, and if you had some questions that were pressing for Mr. Porter and his team, but the staff questions, can we hear the other side's testimony before we get into that after Ms. Kinston's?
Well, my question is going to be to Mr. Porter as well. So
Okay,
I
good.
can either hold that or.
No,
Go ahead and
it's
ask.
that's what the goal was, to direct them to Mr. Porter, and then to allow the other side to come and give their testimony.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Porter. The other question I had is, in the notebook that you gave us in the presentation, it mentions that there is going to be the hours of operation between, let me see where it was, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Monday through Friday.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, so with that question, or with that being said, my other question was, what about lighting and security?
That, I believe, is covered in the plan, but I would be happy, Mr. McBride would have more knowledge about what lighting and security he plans to have on his old building, so I would defer to him.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking that, because there are homes around the area, and I just wanted to make sure about children playing and different things.
Well, I don't,
So-
yes, and before my client speaks, just to be clear, right now it's been vacant for quite an extended time. So if anything, we believe it's more dangerous as a vacant building. It's obviously like an attractive nuisance until you have a business operating out of there. But I'll let my client discuss what lighting and security he plans on.
Lighting would be motion activated, and security would be cameras. Does that answer your question, or?
So will those cameras need to be mounted to a pole, or would they be adjacent to your building?
But, Ms. Kiss, I know you're probably trying to get to the cosmetics of it, but I don't know if he wants to give his whole security layout.
Okay, I understand. All right, and then the other question I have is, in the presentation, it included that it would be 2 employees, but you're indicating that it will be more than 2 employees?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And
Thank
just
you.
to clear that up, I think he meant 2 employees working at any given time.
Well, I have 2 employees working right now. Okay. And they asked how many I'd have. I'd have 6. So I'd hire 4 more. Does that answer?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, any questions for Mr. Porter or his witnesses?
I will hold my questions. Thank you.
Mr. Hare, any questions for Mr. Porter or his team?
I'll hold, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right,
That's my name.
Councilman Wright, any questions for
Yes,
Mr. Porter?
I have a question for Mr. Porter. Any environmental concerns, because you're dealing with cars, abandoned cars, whatever like that, they're going to be stored there for a length of time. Any environmental concerns when it comes to that area?
No, and I'll explain why. The way it's zoned right now, that would be allowed as a matter of right, except for there being a residential building across the 5-lane highway. So no more so than to say that there would be an issue with the environmental concerns would be to say that all of the city of Fayetteville's lots that are zoned community commercial somehow inherently have an environmental issue. So it's already presupposed within the way that this is zoned for wrecker services that there is no environmental impact. Moreover, the wrecked cars can only be there for 90 days before it's a violation of the law. And it's not like these are spewing chemicals all over the place. This is no different than if you unfortunately are in a fender bender and your car can't drive away. My client comes and tows it until the insurance company can come and take a look at it. He can only hold it for a limited amount of time. There's no long-term seepage or runoff. This is not a junkyard. This is a tow truck service. This is a necessary function of our community.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis, you have a question for Mr. Porter?
Yes, Mr. Porter, just one question. What agency monitors a 90-day period? Because I've seen, there are, on Strickland Bridge Road, we've had this where there's an amazing tow truck service and a mechanic shop, and then there are cars that are back there that's been back there for years, and I've been in my house for 6 years. And then you get into litigation with the fact that the people didn't come get their car and the owner can't do anything with it. What's the chance of this happening? Because being next to a church on Merchant Road, we're talking about a major corridor of innovation and all the other things we throw out when we have these big briefings. I'm just want to ask that question so that we can talk through what that
Well, as far as the
reality
specific,
of that is.
and I'm sorry that's happened to you, council member. The specific board, I'll defer to my client, but to ensure that we'll comply, our entire team has just testified under oath that all local, county, and city laws and ordinances will be abided by. And if they are not, the city can take action. So the issues that you're unfortunately experiencing, I assume, in your district, I think can be remedied with the appropriate legal measures through Ms. McDonald and her team hiring third-party or outside counsel. So there is a safety mechanism, but I'll let my client, if he wants to say exactly what entity, I think it's the county enforces that.
I think you'd call the zoning board and go from there. There is a record board that you could report them to and take it up with them.
That's my understanding. I believe Rob Hasty with Cumberland County Attorney's Office is in charge of enforcing that. But yes, there are definitely, if that is not abided by, there are definitely measures that can be taken to correct that. And I remind the City Council that they are authorized to hire local outside counsel. I'd be happy
We heard that.
talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, yeah. And that's for all the, the community people out there who wonder about that, because I get calls,
So
zoning
Councilman, stay
enforcement.
focused
that
on
I'll send you
this,
a letter.
this
and copy
case.
you.
Councilman Hare,
you get the
second
paragraph.
round for Mr. Porter's side. We still have three witnesses to go.
Yes,
guys.
sir. Mr. Porter, standing in front of this property as I'm looking at this photo view, as you drive down the left side of this property, what is on the left side of the property as you drive down beside it?
You mean if I'm coming from Country Club headed towards Fort Bragg?
If you are pulling into the driveway or whatever that is, street there, right beside the fence.
Okay, so you mean if I'm staring at the front of my client's building?
Staring at the front and you're driving down beside it, what properties, if you know, are on that left as you drive down to the rear of that building? What?
On the left-hand side is actually, I believe, an empty lot. So my client just purchased 3 lots. So there's the lot that his building is actually on, and that the existing parking lot is on, and the existing fence is on, which will now be, assuming this is approved, which will be a fence that you cannot see through. On either side are buffer lots. So it's confusing. Whoever developed this land back in the 1940s developed very narrow strips of land so you could buy them in units.
So, Mr. Porter, so whenever you pull down the area that I was just speaking of, you do not pass a church on your left. You do not pass a couple of houses on your left. You don't see those.
There is a church that's, once you pass the buffer lot, there is a small church building, and there is a duplex that must have been grandfathered in at some point in time to the back of that church. However, I think Mr. Harmon was mistaken. That little thin strip of land, and if you pull up his map that has the purple and the red, where that church and that duplex is actually zoned community commercial. It is not zoned residential, and I don't know how to work Mr. Harmon's
Thank you, sir.
fantastic technology, but so it's a community commercial church with a grandfathered in duplex.
Okay. All right. I think it covers it. Thank you, Mr. Porter. Madam Clerk, who's our next speaker?
Mayor, our next speaker is Mr. Eddie Hightower.
Bishop Hightower, please state your name and address, sir.
Eddie Lee Hightower, pastor of New Salem Missionary Baptist Church over the last 21 years, and 960 Sunbury Drive, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And the small parcel that they're missing, there is some families living there for the last 5 years. Those duplexes belongs to the church. A retired soldier live in the back one, and 2 other families live in the other ones. So that's within 100 feet of this record service that they're putting there. Number 3, it says that the special use shall avoid specified adverse impact on the surroundings, as well as noise, vibrations, and also disturbance to various the neighbors. I believe that you can't say that you're just going to be there from 9 to 5. Probably, if you're a record service, if they call you, you're going to have to go out and get the car. So we have canvassed the community. I've talked to the various stakeholders there, and they are not aware of this record service just even be there. And we have more than 75 signatures from community partners that is against this record service being there. Also, we have stakeholders for over the last 21 years that we've been there from New Salem Missionary Baptist Churches, one of the largest stakeholders at that end of the Murchison Road. And for that is not in favor of this record service being there. Now, the gentleman that's, he surveys land, but he can't speak to the noise. He can't speak to the other adverse situations that I've witnessed over the last 21 years when one of my members in my church happened to get out in the Murchison Road with the child did and was hit. So what we're fixing to do now is bring additional traffic to this corridor. So we're going to make it be where it's going to be a heavy industrial area, then you have to do some additional things. Now, it was stated that Mr. Porter had reached out to me. No, he didn't. He called me and said that Mr. McBride told me to stay off his land. That's not good for being a neighbor. And that came directly from Mr. Porter. He called me not to reach out to me, but to literally threaten me. And I don't think that's conducive for developing a relationship. Should this be passed, I believe this says that they have to prove all 8 factors in order to approve this. And it's, you jumped over these people that has been paying rent there for a number of years. The church pays tax there. We try to get it to where we didn't have to pay tax, but we pay tax there also. Now, it's right there where they're going to be hearing this noise. He can't guarantee that a car that's wrecked is not going to leak gasoline and all. He can't guarantee that. So his expert witness saying that he can speak to the noise, but he can't speak to the other factors that it takes to approve this special use. So if one of them is out, then I'm asking this council not to approve it because I spent 21 years of my life out there. When I went there, it was heavily drug infested. And we walked street by street, door by door, and tried to train and redirect individuals. So I had talked to the former owner and tried to get the building because so happened we have an after-school program there that we're training and redirecting our young kids, our feeder schools. We've raised the end-of-the-year testing a whole point. So I'm speaking from the heart. And I don't think this would be conducive, which it says it's not the character use of this area for a record service. Why not find something else that would be more conducive? I talked to Mr. Reardon, who owned the building, and expressed that we had a stake in it. The land that's between there, we've cut for the last 17 years because we thought we owned it. It's cut now. I've received citation after citation because really they didn't know who owned it. We cut the trees down. We cleared it off. Charlie Mott, he's deceased now, chairman of the trustee board. All these folk that we've collected tithes from over the years, I'm standing on their behalf and saying that I don't think that they meant for this to be literally, he said 90 days, so now it becomes a junkyard. You got rats, you got you can't control that. So you got other things that's going to be happening in the area that would, I believe, depreciate what we worked for over the last 21 years. And I thank you for your time, and all it takes is just one, and then it should not be approved.
Thank you, Reverend Hightower. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our next speaker is Mr. Barry Clark. Mr. Barry Clark? Not here. Mr. Leonard Hedgepeth?
Even Mr. Hedgepath, please state your name and address for us.
Leonard Hedgepath. My address is 3517 Tempsford Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I would like the site plan. Could we get that back up on the screen there? The one that's on the screen right there. Yes. You know, it's amazing to me that the presentation you just had was that everybody had been contacted that are stakeholders, okay? Reverend Hightower, the church owners, he's a pastor, he speaks for the church. They were not contacted. Councilman Davis asked, what was that spot on the right there? Who owns that? They don't know. Well, I'm here to tell you that I own it. Not been contacted one time. They were supposed to have gotten with us to work out something. Next thing we know, they have a what? A lawyer, which is their right. A very good presentation. I own just about as much property as the property there. My property, I don't mind telling you what I pay taxes on. I pay taxes on $326,000 a year. That's what I pay. And I've been paying it since 2001. And I think, you know, with what we're talking about putting there, at the front is an office. And then in the back building, we've converted it to office and church, where it would be right there where all the cars would be parked. Now, I'm a land, I own quite a few rentals, okay? And I want to make sure that business goes on like it's supposed to. But not to the detriment of the rest of us, okay? The residential property on the side, and then the office building in the back, we're going to have a fence that we can't even see what's over there. Councilman just said that in his neighborhood, there's one there. After they get there, you cannot do what? You cannot tell what they have and how many cars they have there and how long they're going to stay there. Now, I think it's a good plan. But, I mean, we found out all of this at the last minute. I guess it's on my part, I just didn't notice the special use sign there. But what I'm saying is we were not, especially with the value of the land, the value of the residential property, I would think you would contact all the stakeholders. Never been contacted. And it's almost like, if we hadn't realized what was going on, it would already be what? Approved. And it might, based on the presentation they've given tonight, hey, they've covered all the corners. But Reverend Hightower and myself, we've done a lot. We want everyone to understand when you put this business there, it has an impact on the stakeholders, okay? And especially the stakeholders on both sides. Now, I would love to sell my property. But I wouldn't want to, after this moves there, I'm not sure if I can sell it for what I think I should get. $324,000. Do you think I can get that with a record service next door, or with wrecked cars parked there. So the value of our land will decrease substantially. I'm telling you. I'm not an expert, but the expert didn't call me. So, you know. And mostly what we were looking at is what? Small residential houses being sold in the, we don't even know where the sales composition came from. We don't know if it's on Mercus Road. We don't know if it's where, you know. And, you know, anyway, I beg you to consider not approving this special use, okay? I beg you. And if you do, you know, I'm going to come back to the city council and ask you to do what? Decrease the value of my land so I won't have to pay $4,600 a year in taxes, okay? It stands to reason, doesn't it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we have no further speakers.
All right. Did have a couple of questions for Mr. Hedgepath and Mr. Bishop Hightower. Where are the new speakers? All right. So, or staff at this time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a question for, I guess, Mr. Harmon, if you could. So, when we were discussing the areas, if you could come up to the slide that had the zoning part of commercial and resident, right there, okay. So what I'm looking at is there is residential here in the yellow, correct?
All of this yellow is residentially zoned.
Residentially zoned. So is that what the tax, so it's residentially zoned, so the tax value on it is residential property, okay? So just for clarification, the question was for us to go in and zone everything the same, the way that we had looked for our plan to go through. The reason why that I could say as a landowner, if I own land on Harbor Road or Bowden Road, and right here, is this the church right beside it that's in the yellow? I'm sorry, I'm not real familiar.
So it's a little hard to see on there, but the church's property is kind of right in here.
Okay, and the gentleman that just spoke is on the other side?
Yes, he is on this side.
Okay, and is there a business there?
There is, but again, I don't recall exactly what the business is.
Okay, but it's rented and there's...
I believe that it's currently in use.
Okay, so my point is, if we went in and zoned everything and did it all at once, the people that, if we can go back to the next slide, the one that we had the first time, where this yellow is, they would end up having to pay commercial property taxes, which would make their taxes go up tremendously. And with that being said, that the owners of this land around here could lose their property because their taxes will go up significantly. Is that correct?
There is that possibility.
Okay, so
That's how it works.
yes, the possibility is yes. And with that being said, with it becoming commercial, they will end up paying stormwater fees as a commercial lot. That is, I can tell you that is correct. So on your tax bill, if they become a commercial property, they will pay commercial property taxes and they will pay commercial stormwater, which is not $72 a month. So just, just FYI, for that is one of the reasons that we see a lot of residential in with commercial. So with that being said, I'm glad that you pointed out that the gentleman that just spoke, that there is a business there and it is put on, it is commercial. It makes sense to me now, but it is being rented. So there is business going on there, correct? And the one that is in question, there is not business happening there. It's been vacant for
I'm not sure how long it's been vacant, but it has been vacant for quite a while.
Okay. Can we verify that the gentleman that just spoke, that there is somebody in his property? Do you have renters, sir? Your property, the one beside it, you do have renters in there? Okay, okay, so I saw 2 buildings, are both of them rented? Okay, okay, and what type of businesses are they? One on the back is a church and the front is an office building? Okay, so there is traffic going in and out? Okay, thank you.
All right. Councilman Hare.
I'm just waiting on you, Mayor. I'm ready to make a motion.
All right. Hold on. Still got speakers. Go ahead, Mr. Porter. Yes, sir.
Thank you all. I know this is taking probably a little bit longer than you wanted. I've been sworn, so I'll just go ahead and speak as well. Just to be clear, a community commercial lot allows for a wrecker service. And if you look at what Mr. Harmon has put up here, and I don't know how to make y'all see that. Do you know how to make them see this?
I'm pretty sure they're seeing it.
Are you seeing that? Yes, thank you. If you look at the 3 lots that are purple, those are what my client has now purchased, and thank you for whoever did that. And if you see on both sides of it, those are red. Red means on both sides of this business, it is currently zoned community commercial. Now, if they've put some residential buildings on there, that's not what they've been zoned for on both sides of my client's property. The only reason a special use permit is needed is because across a 5-lane highway, there is some mixed residential. Now, just for argument's sake, and for the record, we do object to any and all hearsay testimony or any opinion testimony that is not from an expert. The statute specifically says that the city council cannot consider opinion testimony when it's from a non-expert, which is why we brought an expert here. But the things that my client, who now owns it, this is not like he's buying it on a contingency. He owns it. He closed, okay? He can put a nightclub there. He wouldn't need a special use permit for that. He could put a tobacco and beer store there. He wouldn't need a special use permit for that. He could put a drug addiction center there. He wouldn't need a special use permit for that. So here you have a businessman trying to do business in an economically depressed area and bring jobs and money and traffic. And traffic is not bad. Traffic goes to other businesses and patronizes them and drops money there. This is a vacant lot. It's been vacant for quite some time. I have the utmost respect for the Reverend Hightower. I'm sure he is quite sincere. However, and let me make it clear, the message we got, which by the way, this is not a requirement, Mr. Tyson and myself have followed all requirements, is that the last hearing was postponed 30 days so that he could talk, Mr. McBride could talk to the people on either side of him. That's not the law. That's not in your code. We did everything that your code, the City of Fayetteville's code, requires. We have met every single element. In fact, we've gone above and beyond. And I ask you to consider the last special use permit you just approved. One individual got up, presented no evidence beyond his application, and just said a few words, and everyone approved it. Think back in your memory, and how many applicants have put forth so much evidence? Now, as far as where the comparisons came from, look in your notebooks. The data is there. Moreover, our expert is here, and his testimony has been unrebutted. So with all due respect to Mr. Hedgepeth, the only testimony before this body, sitting as a quasi-judicial body,
The only expert testimony that would be admissible in Superior Court, which is where if this is denied, unfortunately, we will end up, the only expert testimony is from our expert, that there is no harm to the property value. And again, that makes sense because it's already zoned community commercial. My client already owns it. He's already testified that people came up to him and approached him because they didn't know they'd been driving across his land. I don't think they did it on purpose. It was a mistake. But he will not be intimidated because people want to continue to drive across his land. If they want to purchase that land from him, they can. He'll talk to them about it. But that is no reason to deny the special use permit that should be granted based upon the law and the evidence. And as far as all of these hundreds of stakeholders, the notice was put out, all laws and ordinances were complied with. They're not here, and any statements about what they said is simply hearsay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Councilmember Ingram.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Harmon or Mr. Freeman, could you, one of you, come up, please?
Yeah, it was a little loud, honey. Or either speak louder. Oh, we can't hear it. We have some council members.
Mr. Harmon, can you pull up the aerial map notification, please? Those buildings right up against the yellow line, what are those? Who do those belong to?
Which buildings are you referring to?
Right against the yellow line of right there.
Here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this in the hatched is the property we're talking about. And then this one
Yes,
right
that right
here is
there.
that additional commercially zoned property. And this is church property here. I'm not sure. I think the church owns that property as well.
So it looks like I see two buildings against that yellow line. Who owns what of those buildings?
I believe the church owns this right here.
Okay, and those buildings, Bishop, those buildings, are those buildings the duplexes?
The one duplex, and there is a single-family dwelling right behind it.
So these two buildings up against this yellow line, one of them are the duplexes.
Yes, ma'am.
And one is a single-family dwelling.
Yes, ma'am.
And residents live in them?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harmon, can you go to subject property, please? The view of that. So those two buildings that seem to be tan and yellow are the ones I just questioned about, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harmon or Mr. Freeman, I have a question. Is this because the church owns this property that it is community commercial, but there is residential use in it? Is that because the church owns this property?
I'm not sure why. It's been like that for quite a while, so I don't know. It's been commercially zoned. I've been working with the city for over 11 years, and it's been commercially zoned that whole 11 years, so I don't know the backstory of why that might have been zoned that way before.
So, I'm just confused as to how there's residential use in community. I'm just trying to understand it. And we, thank you.
Did have a question, Mr. Harmon. I know you've been moved about with the UDO, which requires. I know you give us a list of things that are acceptable uses. Correct. Now. Okay,
They
or
are
Mr. Porter did. Okay, But we're here because there's some exception to those things that the applicant is asking for. Can you tell me what that is?
So, just as the applicant stated, they meet all the criteria except they are not within, or they are within 250 feet of residential property.
That's part I want to talk to you about. So, is that of properties that are being used as residences, or is it properties that are zoned residential that they're 250 feet within?
Zoned residential.
So,
But there's still properties within the 250.
and the
even-
reason why the UDO would have that is because it was attempting to do what to property that was used for residential purposes?
It would just mainly to safeguard.
To try to put some distance between
Exactly.
the two?
Yes,
Okay.
But to give city council the option under the special
make
use
exceptions.
permit for
And
exceptions.
so I guess my question for the applicant or his attorney, Mr. Porter, I know that you said that two sides were unsuccessful. And so with the intent of the ordinance or the UDO to say we want to keep commercial property and residence at least 250 feet apart, whether whoever's fault it is, how it started, it's verified that there's a family within 250 feet of the proposed establishment. Have the two sides talked about, well, does it make you, does it impact his deal or his layout if there is additional buffering or some compromise point that the two parties can get to? We understand it's been difficult to have to this point, but is that something that you see as a possibility?
Are you talking about as far as
Well,
Hightower or?
The concerns of the city to create an ordinance to say that we want to keep a certain distance between businesses and houses.
I understand, but let me say it like this. The business is already there. It's just been sitting vacant. So if the goal was to keep businesses away from homes and residences, which I don't think it was, I think it was just to be able to have it before city council like it is, well then that's already been resolved. And with all due respect to the Reverend Hightower, when you build residential property within something that's zoned community commercial, you should not get to profit from that to the detriment of your adjoining landowner that is also zoned community commercial. So I understand the city's intent of having a safety valve, but to be clear, and you hit upon this, Mayor, the residential property that has triggered the 250-foot exception that brings us to this point is the property across a 5-lane road. Now, as far as what could be worked out, my understanding, although it's nowhere within the code or with any city ordinance, that it was continued last time for 30 days so that parties on all sides could talk. To my knowledge, Mr. Tyson did reach out, and moreover, just so we're clear, no one reached out to my client, Mr. McBride, other than someone, we don't know if they were associated with the church, but someone from that side of the property came over and said, if you don't let us keep crossing where we've been crossing all these years, we'll make it to where you don't get your permit. That's what was said, and Mr. McBride's here. He can verify it. So as far as cooperation, what we have received back is hostility. Now, a wrecking service is blue-collar America that pays a living wage. And the alternative is, now my client owns this property. He's not backing down. He owns it. He does not need a special use permit, any type of exception. He can go out tomorrow morning, if this is not approved, and open up with proper licensures from other entities beyond this council, a tobacco shop.
Well, Mr. Porter, I got that part. I guess what I'm getting at is the fact that he is here because what he wants to do with it, he needs us to do something about it.
That is absolutely correct.
So I want to pick it up from that point, and I want to be helpful. And you also have to look at that although, yes, it is creating some jobs, which all of us are for that, we also have to look at the long-term impact of property devaluation, which decisions by boards like this cause adverse impact on people's valuations of their property, which is where wealth is created. So what I'm asking, picking that up from tonight's conversation, is that can his project work that still accomplishes what he needs, because he didn't come here tonight to turn that into a tobacco store, but it still accomplishes his core line of business that he says he wants to do there, with the concerns of the family that we can verify lives there, however they got there, whoever rented it to them. Picking this up from tonight, is that something that's possible? That's my question.
I think it's more than possible. It's already been proven by the application that's been submitted, because in order to assuage the concerns of the council, an applicant obeys the laws that are already put in place, such as fencing, and such as if there is a noise issue, they can complain. There are noise ordinances. So what my client has done, with all due respect to you, Mayor, and to the council, he has followed the law as this council has written it. And he submitted his initial application to Mr. Harmon and to his team, and they came back and they said, hey, chain link fence won't do. Put up, a fence you can't see through. No one wants to see wrecked cars, even if they're moving in and out. To Councilmember Davis's point that no one likes to look at these things. Okay, he did that. But as far as not harming,
well, I guess let me phrase it another way, Mr. Hedgepeth. So, can you step to the mic for one moment? So, to the attorney's point, the concerns that you had, you were concerned that piece of property that you have and invested in, values may change. One of the concerns that you referenced that Councilman Davis mentioned was that in his community, there's a similar business that has cars that I guess he can see because he was able to tell us that they've been there a while. In this case, it was proposed that a privacy fence would be put up for cosmetic reasons, but then I thought I heard you also say that you can't see what's going on behind it. So are you more concerned with the security or the activity, which is the police and someone else's problem, or is it a cosmetic issue or value issue, or all?
All.
Okay. All right.
and if I could, one of your other points, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me for just a second. Mr. Mayor, can we request that Attorney Porter truncate his answers and give us an opportunity to kind of make it around the dais so that we can kind of keep this moving? And let me tell you why I'm asking that. Because when we are the governing body, and when we get a little long-winded, you shut us down. And so I kind of need for us to bring this in a little bit so that we can make it around and hear the concerns from the
Well, I
dais.
am. The only reason is because it does allow for rebuttal. I got the nod from the attorney, and so if some of the questions are directed to one side, I guess he's speaking for the other.
I understand that. I'm just asking, can we bring it in?
I'll take that into consideration, but we have talked, but I guess what we're doing now is at the end of the testimony, it's time for us to ask whatever our questions are. So I've got those who've asked to speak. I've got it in the order you've asked, but I think we've got to give both sides an opportunity to ask that, and that's where we are. So, but Ms. Porter, if you can, try to keep it as direct as you can.
I will, and I'll be very direct. And I do apologize if anyone has found me long-winded, but you have to understand, you're not sitting today as a governing body here. You're sitting as a quasi-judicial body, just as if you were a jury. And this is my one chance to put on evidence. So, Councilmember Waddell, if I seem long-winded, I apologize. But if you don't grant this and we have to appeal, I don't get a second chance. This is it. So as far as property values, again, I will just say that the unrebutted expert testimony, which is what is required by North Carolina statutory law, and you can confer with Ms. McDonald and she'll confirm that, and case law, is what has to be looked at by a quasi-judicial body sitting as judge and jury. And the unrebutted, unrefuted evidence is that this project will not adversely affect property values. That is the only testimony before you that would be admissible as expert testimony in Superior Court, which is the standard. That is the standard. So they've had an extra 30 days, which, by the way, that extra 30 days, I know it was done with the intent of cooperation. However, that also has consequences. That's 30 days behind schedule for my client and his business. So it has impacted him. That's 30 days of not being up and operating.
Got you, Mr. Porter. All right, Councilmember Waddell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to forego my question because I think that it's already been answered. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Kinston.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. McBride, can you come up for just a moment? I just need to clarify a couple of things. Are you currently running a record service in the city of Fayetteville right now?
No,
Okay, and your record service is not a nonprofit, it is for-profit, correct?
it is for-profit.
Okay, so my other question is, and I'm going back to something that I previously asked, is your hours of operation indicated it was going to be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., correct?
Yes.
Okay, and with you being a for-profit, I want to ask this question, I want to make sure that I have some clarity on it. Your record service is going to end at 5 p.m.
Well, we'll have after-hour calls, but that's not during normal business hours.
Okay, so if it's not during normal business hours, then that means that if you're on a record rotation with the city of Fayetteville,
Yes.
that you will be pulling vehicles into that property 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever if you're on rotation.
Yes.
Okay, and with that being said, with the residential homes beside that, that is noise or, as it said, let me go back. Bear with me just a moment. The special use avoids significant adverse impact on surrounding land, service delivery, parking, loading, odors, noise, glare, and vibration. So if I'm correct, if your hours are not only from 9 to 5, and you're on a record rotation, then that is noise that would be made in the middle of the night.
Yes, can I just add that this building, from what I understand, was a Napa store at one point in time? Can anybody confirm that?
Well,
Just because what I'm going to say is Napa stocks their stores at 3 o'clock in the morning, at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when they do their deliveries to their stores. So if it was a Napa store before, and there was a semi pulling in and out at 3 o'clock in the morning,
okay, and Mr. McBride, I respect that, but as your attorney said, this is a quasi-judicial, and I'm only going by the information, so I don't know about the Napa store. I'm only going by the information that was presented to us today. So, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Councilman Wright.
Yes, I have some concerns, and it's Pastor Hightower mentioned that there are families 100 feet from the record service, and I don't know how accurate that would be, but based upon what we're seeing in the drawing. But this will be to the attorney. Given this, well, I guess you are attorney, but also our attorney.
I'm sorry.
Given this situation with the residents in a commercial type zoning because of the church, and it's a unique situation because as a pastor myself, we try to work with residents and things of that nature. But given this type of judicial setting, the only residents that we are concerned with was the residents across the 5-lane highway. And are we to be concerned about the residents that are in this particular situation next to the property in mention, in the sense of the distance from the residents? Is legally, can we consider that?
You should consider all of the evidence that was presented tonight in making your decision.
Well, I understand that, but okay. I got you.
What he's saying, Mr. Porter said we can only consider testimony. He reiterated that part of the law, but you said evidence, which is a difference, right?
Yeah.
The testimony tonight, which testimony is a form of evidence.
Okay.
And the testimony, if I understand the question, was about the proximity of residences to the proposed use.
Did that take care of it?
Yes.
So she said, consider
Yeah,
what?
I'm going to consider that.
All right. All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have a question, and I hope that I'm not out of line. If I am, I'm sure you will tell me. So my question is, the gentleman has bought the building and has bought the land. If we do not approve this, my understanding is there is a long list of things that he can put in that area. And I guess the question that I have to Reverend Hightower and Mr. Hedgepeth is, which is the less of two evils? And so my question is, I'm hearing traffic, I'm hearing things, but then I'm hearing there can be a tobacco store there that can be open for 24 hours, a day, 24 hours the full day. So, and I don't know if this is possible, but I've seen it done before. Is there any way that we can have the two, since we've had this hearing here, and they see what the options are here? Is there any way that they can meet, and maybe the representatives on council can be part of that meeting, and they can figure this out? If I am out of line, I apologize, Madam Attorney. But I know we did it once, but I was wondering if maybe we could make a motion to make that happen again, if Councilmember Hare is applicable of that.
Well, we need to see if it's legal, first of all.
Yeah, is it legal?
That is not a part of your process.
Everything has changed tonight, so I just, threw it out there to see if that could happen.
All right, Council, I think we've. I don't see your light. You're pushing Courtney's light or something. Yeah, y'all have got to get it together over there. All right, Councilman Dawkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Harmon, I got some questions for you. I think what Council Lady Jensen, Mayor Pro Tem Jensen, has called on to something. Tell me now, could they put a bar there? Because this is America, it's free enterprise. Is it zoned for a bar, for instance?
It's zoned for a bar if they could meet the distance requirements. I don't know if there's daycare, schools, things of that nature.
But it doesn't matter about a house across a 5-lane highway or a residence that's abutting it. Is that correct?
There are a lot of uses that would be allowed that they could do tomorrow on that.
Well, I'm asking, could they put a bar in there that stays open to 2 o'clock in the morning?
Without looking at that particular property.
Grant you that.
It's a little hard to give a specific answer.
Okay. All right, let me try something easier. Could they put a tobacco shop in there that sold beer? Could they get an ABC license? Is there any?
That would be just like any convenience store.
And is that permissible or not?
It would be permissible.
Okay, so you're telling me they can sell beer. Could they be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
We don't have.
There's no restrictions?
No restrictions on
Okay,
something
as long as they can get an alcohol permit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're telling me that they could open something that's open 24 hours a day and have to adhere to the lighting standards, but you're going to have people going in and out of there in a tobacco shop. And all I've talked about since 2003 when I got elected the first time is we need to renovate Murchison Road. And I know that this is some guy saying it who's lived here all his life. I'm for reducing the number of tobacco and beer shops overall. And I got clients who were convenience stores, but it wouldn't work real good in this spot. So I would encourage the council. I find that I can support this if there's a motion to support it, because I'm thinking of the kids, the children. Thank you, Mr. Harmon. Okay, I learned a long time, you don't rezone people. You rezone land, or you approve a special use permit for the land. So now, if you want a beer hall and a tobacco shop, because this guy could make probably more money with that than he can with a wrecker service. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Dawkins, for that. Respectfully, I'll say this, that, he's in a for-profit business, and if he could make more money selling beer, I think that would be his application. But I'm not speaking to that. What I'm saying is, I hope the board, as we have to come down to a decision here, considers the fact that we all want Murchison Road to redevelop. But the question becomes, is this something that we will put on our street, in our district? Okay, yes or no? I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just simply asking us to consider all of that. If there's a vacant property on Rayford Road, do we fill it with first thing coming, or do we make it consistent with something? So I love the jobs, I love the business, I'm pro all of that. I was wondering, but I didn't hear that tonight from Mr. Porter or his client or the other side, if both objectives could be obtained. And so I guess based on that, we'll have to figure our way through it. Councilmember Waddell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to reserve my comment, but since it appears that we're able to make a small comment, I'll go ahead and do so. I don't live far from here. So when we talk about, the not in my backyard complex, this could be essentially considered my backyard. And so when I make this comment, I want everybody to be very well aware of that. While this is not my district, I do recognize that we create plans for the future growth of our city. And as we look at the plans that have been implemented regarding the future growth of our city, this is consistent with that. And with that stated, I want to say this, because we tend to see from time to time that we prioritize these grandfathered in properties. We're talking about, I think, a duplex that's grandfathered in, and we're talking about a business. And I want to point to the wrecker service that is on Pamela, that's next to McDonald's. When we talk about the potential for property value, when we're looking at industrial areas or commercial areas, I don't think that you necessarily see the values. And I'm not a real estate agent or a realtor, and so by no means is this expert testimony, but this is my perspective as someone who lives in this community. I think when you begin to see communities shape up and have purpose, and buildings being filled with industry that fits the aesthetic of the area, you begin to see life and vibrancy in those areas. And so I want us to think about that. And I want for the people who have expressed opposition, I want you to consider the fact that this may not be, like, I heard the word junkyard, and automatically when I hear junkyard, it takes me to Sanford and Son. And I just think about the clutter and the, all of that. And I would implore upon the owner of this property that should this be, because again, this is my community, should this be approved, if this council decides to approve this petition, my request as a council member, someone who represents this city, is that you beautify that area. That when you bring that business, you don't allow it to be a junkyard. That you do business in a way that beautifies the community that you will be inhabiting as a businessman. That you reface that building. That you put up good signage. That you put up a fence that you'd want in your neighborhood. That you're mindful of those duplexes that are there. And that you do business in a way that says, I honor the community that I've come into. And I'll say this and then I'm done. I think that it is disrespectful, the presentation that has been given in terms of, well, they didn't come speak to us, or he said this to us. I think when you go into a person's community, you come in with the best intentions, and you do everything you can to make yourself a part of that community if you want to be well received. Now, if you want to have a fight, you go in with your gloves up. But it's not an us against them, because if you come into Councilmember Hare's district to do business, you're coming in as a part of the community. And we need for that, for anybody who wants to do business in the city of Fayetteville, we need for you to understand that we need for you to respect the community that you're coming into, because that says I'll be a good neighbor and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this community looks and feels better about the way that it's presented. And with that being said, if we're ready for a vote, I'm prepared to vote.
Councilmember Hare has his light.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We have had several rounds tonight, and very, very interesting. and I applaud all that I've heard from the presentations to the city council. And as I look at these items, even though I can possibly have a personal thought, and I hear what the others are saying, we still have 8 findings of fact that we have to go by, not by our thoughts and what we think. I don't think anybody wants Murchison Road more productive than DJ Hare does, because I do. But I do see at least 2 finding of facts, 3 and 4, that I feel have not been met, and that they do have and show a adverse visible effect against those that directly abut them. Before I make my motion, I would like to extend, if this is out of order, I will withdraw what I'm getting ready to ask. Is there a need from the petitioner and those of the community? I guess before I even ask that, I'm asking Ms. McDonald for an opportunity to speak again. I know maybe we're going about it, the SUP, a little bit differently. Is that something still that could be made a request of this evening and tabling this item once more?
Mr. Hare, you can certainly make that request to the applicant and those in opposition. That's all I've said.
Just legally absent of council members. That was the part that was asked the last time. You don't recommend we be a part of that. You're requesting they do. That's the clarity that I need.
If you don't feel comfortable with that, I have my motion ready.
Mr. Harris,
Mr. Hare,
is your question contingent on a council member, or you just want the 2 parties to see if they can?
Oh, no, not to include the council.
Okay,
No,
all right. So we're not gonna put you on the spot, Madam Attorney.
No.
All right, Mr. Hare, what's your pleasure, sir? Which direction? I guess, are you asking that of Mr. Porter or of the
Yes, I'm
the
asking
other
of
side?
the petitioner,
Reverend Hightower,
the
or
applicant, and the others. The opposition.
Are you asking us to voluntarily table the petition? Is that
No, sir. You don't get that. You don't have that order. We do that here. My thing was asking if there is an opportunity for the petitioner and those in opposition to see if there can be a meeting on the item.
My only thoughts, and I was certainly never town attorney for a town this large, but I have been a town attorney for much smaller ones. I think you can hold this matter open while you look at other matters on the agenda, and we will be happy to step outside and speak to the good Reverend Hightower and to Mr. Hedgepath and see if we can come back before you in a few minutes.
So does anything stop us from holding this open until we decide to close it? Okay, what is that? Can you explain that? No, sir. I'm saying you can keep it open. So it's not necessarily 30 minutes or 20 minutes, it's when we close the public hearing, is that correct?
You can certainly table this matter if you are so inclined.
All right, so that's your answer, Mr. Hare.
Okay, then, Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we allow this time period for the applicant and those in opposition. Okay, so I'm asking that we table this item.
All right, so there's a motion by Councilmember Hare to continue this matter to allow additional time for the parties to discuss. Is there a second by Councilmember Ingram? Any discussion on that? Mr. Hedgepath, did you say something? It's whatever time you all say, but Mr. Hare, that is a question they'll have to ask. Mr. Hedgepath, did you have?
Yeah, I'm not understanding what's going on. Remember the last time you tabled it, we were supposed to get together and work out something. We come back with a lawyer and 3 what, specialist, 3, whatever. And so you asking us to go outside and talk to
Well,
a lawyer?
Councilman,
We don't have legal representation.
Mr. Escher, hold on. Councilman Dawkins, let's give respect to both sides of the argument. Go ahead, Ms. Hedgepath, please.
Yes. What I'm saying is, you asking us to go outside and talk to a lawyer?
That's not, that was the recommendation of the counselor of the applicant. That is not necessarily the council's decision. Right now, we have a motion and a second to leave the public hearing open. There has been a question about amount of time that you would like to leave it open to allow for that, or if the council does not pass that, then I'll look for a motion to entertain an up or down decision about it.
Yes. So but I just need to understand, you want us to go outside?
Well, we're not necessarily saying that you have to go outside and try to work it out right now. I think the intent of Councilman Hare's motion, and he can speak to that, is that to see if there was any opportunity for you to come to some compromise point of view. Reverend Hightower, did you have something to add to that?
Are you saying that we have to come to sit down?
You don't have to do anything. Yeah.
Well, are you asking us to take
Let me let
Mr.
Mr. Hare clarify his motion here.
Okay, Mayor, if possible, could I put a time frame on that for this item to come back to us?
It's your motion, whatever you would like
And
for.
I would like for this item to come back to us in 30 days, okay, to give.
Do you not agree with that?
No?
Okay.
No?
All right. So listen, there's a motion on the floor. There's a second. The motion was to table the item. It didn't have any specifics to it. Mr. Hare, are you amending your motion?
Go ahead.
Are you leaving it as is? You're amending your motion, or are you going to have the council vote on it as presented?
Well, my whole goal was trying to see if we could get the two together. So, no?
Reverend Hightower, did you have something to add to that? Hold on. Yeah, right.
Is you're going to wind up in Superior Court. And that's just not fair. But still, and yet, he can do that.
Councilman Dawkins.
That's just not fair.
Okay. Well,
He's
Reverend Hightower.
threatening you all if you don't give him what he
No.
great presentation.
So
That's what he's
let me clarify that. So the process is, it's not saying that if you don't give me the outcome I desire, then I'm going to sue you. He's not saying that. What he's saying, basically, the state says that it starts here, and then to appeal the decision, the courts are the next step. So the council will make a decision tonight or not, whether it's to table it or to vote up or down on it, and then they're saying that the plan is to appeal in the event that they don't agree with that decision. And you have the same right. Okay, all right. So Councilman Hare, there's a motion and a second on the floor to table. I heard some discussion about you possibly amending it or specifying some time. If that is what you choose to do, please repeat it and hope that you have a compliant second. If not, we can have discussion. I have a light for discussion, and then we'll need to follow that with a vote because we really need to move on.
When is our next meeting? October the 5th. Okay, Mayor, then if I could amend that, I would like to amend that for the meeting to stay open until October the 5th.
You can make it do whatever. All right, so do you agree with the second, the amendment, Councilmember Ingram?
Mayor, I was under the impression, which is why I seconded that, the two bodies would go into the next room and come back. And so at that time, I would like to withdraw my second.
Okay, all right. So there's withdrawal by Councilmember Ingram to withdraw her second, but I have a second by Mayor Pro Tem as presented. All right, any further discussion, Councilmember Waddell?
I didn't even know my button was pressed, but I do
but I do
Green.
have discussion. I just want to say that this doesn't really make sense to me because I think what we're asking them to do is, go in a room, play nice together, and come back and tell us how you feel about each other now. And the reality is, they've already told us where they stand. I think, much like Councilmember Ingram, I thought that we were asking for them to go into the other room, have some dialogue, and see if they can come out amicable. Because I really think what probably needs to happen at this point is I think that the Bishop Hightower and the other gentleman who owns property need to have a conversation with the gentleman in the middle, and he needs to explain his intent to them if that's what we're giving them a chance to do, so they can now just have that moment that they're saying they didn't have. But if that's not what we're going to do, I think we need to just vote and move forward with this tonight.
That's what. Thank you, ma'am. That's what the motion's on the floor. Did we, Councilman Banks? Did you push the screen? No, you did not. Okay, I don't know what's going on with her lights tonight. All right, council. Have a motion on the floor to hold a public hearing open until October the 5th. There's a second by Mayor Pro Tem. We've discussed it several times. All right, council, look to you for your votes to table with that outcome. All right. Madam Clerk, that motion fails to table. Those voting in favor of that motion, Councilman Davis, Colvin, Jensen, and Hare. Those voting in opposition, Banks, McLaughlin, Dawkins, Wright, Ingram, Kinston, and Waddell.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Wright.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to disapprove this request based upon one of the 8 findings of facts, meaning the distance from residential.
Second, sir.
All right, there's a motion by Councilmember. There's a motion by Councilmember Wright to deny application. There's a second by Councilman Hare to deny based on not meeting the 8 findings of fact. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, council.
Mr. Mayor, you need to, the maker of the motion needs to articulate which finding of fact.
I did, but I didn't give you the number with the distance. I don't have it before
You used
me.
to have that in front of us. I don't know what's going on with our cam. The 8 findings of facts, where's that? It's not in.
Well, 3 and 4. But
Oh, on the screen. I don't have a screen.
Okay,
Just
I'm
one
sorry.
on the monitor.
It's 1.
They need me a TV right here.
What is the distance?
Number 1, sir.
It's 1.
Yes, yes. It would be number 1 of the 8 finding of facts. Special use will comply with all applicable standards in section 30-4-C, use-specific standards inserted supporting the facts.
All right, so there's a motion by Councilmember Wright to deny based on motion criteria number 1. There's a second by Councilmember Hare. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, council, I look to you for your votes. This is in favor of a denial. Did everybody have that? Any confusion? Before we clear that, this was, the motion is to deny, so green, you agree with that? Red, you do not agree with denial. Is that how everybody understood that? Okay, all right, let's make sure. And you, council, you know why we talking about this. All right, the motion carries for denial. Those voting in favor, Councilman Davis, Dawkins, Wright, Colvin, Ingram, Hare, and Kinston. Those voting in opposition of the denial, Councilmember Banks, McLaughlin, Jensen, and Waddell. All right. For the denial. You voted for it. This is for it. The motion was to deny.
Let's go forward.
Mr. Mayor, if
I'm
there's
trying to fix that. I'm trying to ask. Yes, ma'am.
if there's an error in the in the vote,
I asked that. So, council, everybody understood that motion was to deny. Your green's been on all night. Oh, she just hit the red.
She hit green, but it showed up red.
Madam Clerk, let's strike that. Let's revote. Madam Attorney, anything I need to do special for that?
It is showing red on there. These lights are just, these lights are messed
Maybe
up.
these tags are off. Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, shows red on there, but green up there.
So, Mr. Mayor, do we need to do a voice vote?
Please, let's just let's turn the lights. All right, council. Yeah, we'll start.
Where did she go? I guess she went to the restroom.
Y'all see what's happening, right?
Yeah, it's red on here, but it's
They
green
don't
up
got
there.
this social distancing right, because every time Johnny pushes his button, to talk to each other. So
Tried to get
she's
people
got
a chance.
I think her button's got something on it.
They chose not to.
No, the buttons are okay, but we're gonna
Johnny,
do a voice vote just
what was your vote?
to make sure that we
Somebody's
understand
vote.
each other. So, council. All right, we're gonna do a voice vote, council. All right, this is a
Mr. Mayor,
motion.
Mr. Mayor, if the lights are correct, then you don't need
They're
to.
not correct.
Okay.
They're not correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't want to have any misunderstandings.
taken a picture because they're
All right.
different.
It's two different things on here, so we got to get this worked out.
Yeah.
All right, council, we'll need a voice vote. I'll start at my right. This is for the motion to deny. So, Councilmember Waddell, what's your pleasure?
Red.
Councilmember Kinston. Councilmember Hare. Councilmember Ingram.
Green.
Mayor Pro Tem Jensen.
Red.
Mayor Green. Councilmember Wright.
Green.
Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. Councilmember Dawkins.
Red.
Councilmember Davis. Okay. So those voting green, please raise your hand so that the clerk can document it. Those voting green. So the motion for green carries 7. Those voting in favor, Madam Clerk, you have the names? Okay. And those voting red, please hands for just a moment. All right. 7-3, motion carries of denial. Thank you, guys. Council, it's been 4.5 hours. Let's take a just a few minute break, restroom break. We'll come right back in 10.
So the lights were correct.
Yeah, he was.
10.
looked at him like,
I think we got the button issue worked out. All right, Mr. Freeman,
Yes, sir.
it's 10 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Ready for you.
So these are public hearings. These are text amendments, TA 20-001 through 003. These items actually came before you all at a work session a couple of months ago. It has went before the Planning Commission, which have recommended approval by a vote of 8-0. Our first text amendment deals with conditional zonings. This resolves a conflict between subsection A and subsection C. Staff has requested that subsection C be omitted to allow for a less restrictive standard of parallel general use zoning districts, which if you know conditional zoning now, we can go a lot higher, and we don't have the constraints of the code to do so. This is just a clarification amendment to resolve the conflict. Our next one is 2. This deals with fencing and walls. This is to increase the height of fencing from 3 feet to 4 feet. Our current code is not at market standard, which is why we have had this request. And our last one deals with allowing identification signs and medians for residential and large multi-building developments. They already have to go through the process.
Councilman, you okay? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it already has to go through the process of being reviewed by several different departments, development services, the traffic engineering, and the fire department. This right here will eliminate the process of going through a alternative sign plan, which is bringing it before the Planning Commission and having them hear this case.
All right, thank you, Mr. Freeman. I know this, we've talked about this kind of extensively in a previous meeting. These were some last of some of the recommendations and grammatical errors and consistencies I think we talked about on a work session. Council, you have any questions for Mr. Freeman? All right, so ho. All right, that was on me. Yeah, I got you. Councilmember Waddell.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Freeman, when you said doesn't meet market standards, can you just explain that very quickly in terms of the fencing?
Say, for instance, you go to Home Depot and you're looking in the field to look for a fence. Well, what they're going to show you are fences that are at 4 feet. They're not going to show you 3 feet. 3 feet is custom made. 4 feet is the market standard.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Councilman Hare. Oh, this is a public hearing item?
This is a public hearing.
No, we have no speakers.
Okay, so let me open and close that. And Councilman Hare, I'm coming right to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll open, and with that, we'll close the public hearing. Councilman Hare.
Yes, sir. Mayor, have spoken to committee members, and everybody's a thumbs up, so I'd like to make a motion that we adopt all of the proposed ordinance amendments.
All right, there's a motion by Councilmember Hare for adoption of these text amendments. Is there a second? A second by Councilmember Ingram. Any discussion on the motion? That was the second, right, ma'am?
Ingram.
That was the second? All right. Any discussion on the motion? All right, council, I'll look to you for your votes. Madam Clerk, it's unanimous. Motion carries. All right, item 7.05, Phase 5 Annexation Utility Improvement Project, Area 22 Public Hearing. Mr. Brown, it's 10 o'clock. How you doing?
It'll be fast. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I just wanted to thank you for leaving this public hearing open because there were some changes we wanted to make to the assessment, so I want to make sure that the citizens were aware of them before we closed the public hearing. We did do that. There were about 5 properties where the assessments were lowered by the work we did there, so I appreciate that time. You've seen my presentation before. I talked to the clerk. I understand there are no speakers, so unless you have questions, I'm ready to let you go home.
All right, sir. Let me, with that, I'll open and close the public hearing.
Yes, sir, we have no speakers.
Great. All right. Council, any questions for Mr. Brown, who has a clock and a watch on his arm? With that, Councilmember Kinston.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, that was not your button. I don't know what's going on with these buttons today. Oh, you did push that. Okay, all right. Councilman, look to you for action for this item.
Well,
There's nothing
no
we need to
action
do.
required.
All right, all right.
The rule will come to you at a
All
later
right.
meeting, so.
Gotcha. No questions for him. I need some action for the next item. Councilmember Kinston. Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor?
Oh. Karen doesn't have a clock at home. All right, so, council, as a point of clarity, when we came out of the dinner meeting, we needed to, come back into open session. Can we get a motion to do that, just so that everything?
And to adjourn that
And
meeting.
then to adjourn after that. All right, so there's a motion by Councilmember Wright to come, out of closed session, a second by Councilman Hare. All those in favor, council, can I see your votes, please, to come out? All right, Councilman Davis? All right. Councilman Waddell? Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. Madam Clerk, that's 9-0. All right, motion to adjourn?
Yes.
All right, it is time.
Thank you,
All right.
council.
Thank you.